Gentleman from Henry, Mr. Armstrong. Oops.
Point of personal privilege.
Gentleman has the floor.
The gentlewoman from Newport News, Hampton, I'm sorry. Gentlewoman from Hampton just showed me her BlackBerry. Juwan, happy birthday in advance. Card coming later. Governor McDonnell. Tell me he doesn't listen to us. But I enjoyed the gentleman from Isle of Wights. It was a nice little speech, I would tell the gentleman, how family is so important. And his mother would tell you a little story. Many of you know I lost my father last year. My mother, who is 94, still lives by herself and manages quite well doing that. But she watches us every day, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, I'm sitting at my seat, and my BlackBerry goes off, and I look down, and it's my mother calling. And so I get up and walk to the back and answer, and I said, "What's up?" She said, "There's no sound." I said, "What are you?" I was on the feed. She says, "No, there's no sound." So I get back, and I go back to Sharon and tell her, and she calls downstairs. About 5 minutes later, phone rings again. She said, "Thanks, the sound's back on." So I would tell you that I've been accused of playing to the cameras, Mr. Speaker, and that's true, but it's not for what you think. My mama watches me every day. And it's for who that I do that. Now, the real reason that I got up to speak, last night, Mr. Speaker, as you know, because we were both there was a little soiree for us, which we often do at the end of the session, was very well attended. And it is good for us to do that. In fact, I would say that we don't break bread and sup wine enough down here, because when we do that, we're much more likely to come on the floor the next day and help one another than to attack one another. And it was very well attended, and I commend all of you for doing that, and we should do more. But one of the comments that I got is the gentleman from Salem and I sat down last night, and we sat and talked with one another, I guess, a good 45 minutes or so. And word got back to me, why in the world are the two of them sitting there talking to one another? And I suppose maybe the gentleman from Salem and I have not been as instructive as we should have been. This is a tough room. It is intimidating. It is intense. And when you can stand up on the floor of this House and defend your position of the tough questioning of the gentleman from Henrico or the gentleman from Shenandoah, you can say you've done something. Contrasted with the body down the hall, which I think has all the intensity and fervor of a well-appointed hotel lobby. But as you have seen these past 60 days, the gentleman from Salem and I don't pull any punches with one another, and we go after one another with that same intensity. But it's not personal. The gentleman from Roanoke, Mr. Woodrum, used to quote Shakespeare and Emerson on the floor. Ward Armstrong quotes Clint Eastwood movies. There was a Clint Eastwood movie, The Outlaw Josie Wales, and there was a scene in there where Josie was had been in the Civil War and was being pursued by Union forces, and he's trying to make a life for his family, and they move into the frontier, and he has to cross through Native American territory and through a warrior by the name of Ten Bears, who was a very fierce warrior. And so Josie Wales, the Clint Eastwood character, rides out to ask for permission to pass through Indian territory. And Ten Bears, the chief, says to him, "It is good that warriors such as we should meet on the field of battle." And that is how I feel about the gentleman from Salem, and how I feel about all of you all. We strengthen the republic when we go after one another in the debate in this place. Like flying buttresses, unless we push against one another with all our might, the building, it will fall. I say to my good friend who has ambitions beyond this chamber that it would be disingenuous of me to tell him that I hope he achieves his dream, particularly when I'm expected to work against him. So instead, I would say to the gentleman, I wish him courage, endurance, wisdom, stamina, and at the end of the day, contentment and fulfillment for whatever is the outcome of the November election. At the end of the day, this place is better for you being here. I hope the same can be said of me. But this is a wonderful place, and we should always respect the institution. With that, Mr. Speaker, I will take my seat.